Hey guys, well, I just watched probably the worst political speech in my entire life. And no, it wasn't Trump's State of the Union address. It is what we're about to watch right now, the response to the State of the Union address. Oh my God. I just got home from work and, obviously I watched the State of the Union address last night. I'm super tired. I was super tired all day. And there's a lot to say about it. Definitely a lot to say about it. But the Democratic response. So, as I'm about to go to bed, I see Amy Klobuchar's basically reaction to it. She's like, oh my God, it was such a strong speech. I watched 30 seconds of it and I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? This is the response? So Chuck Schumer is a disgrace. He needs to get out of politics. He needs to retire. His era is long done. Okay? And Hakeem Jeffries also needs to get the fuck out of politics. So have a nice watch with me. It's going to be very, very civil. If you're on the right, sit back, relax, and laugh your ass off. If you're on the left, cry and weep like I did. Because this is going to get bad. I saw another 30 seconds of this today when I got home from work. And I'm just like, bruh, I got to make a reaction to this because this is bad. They've learned nothing. They've learned absolutely nothing. So Chuck Schumer picks this, senator that nobody's ever heard of. The logical answer is like, oh yeah, pick, Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or somebody who's actually willing to fight. So let's see how this, Democrats, Lisa Slotkin is going to fight. Basically, I've seen a minute of this speech, so you're going to see my raw reaction for the first time. Oh, it's great. Just can't hear.
So I promise to be a lot shorter than what you just watched.
Oh, ho, 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 so funny, so funny. No.
I won't take it personally if you've never heard of me. I'm the new senator from the great state of Michigan, where I grew up. I've been in public service my entire life.
Okay, so we're still having this coached, political talk. I am from the great state of Alabama, and it is a wonderful day outside. I'm going to talk to you like I'm a politician, and I'm going to speak in platitudes and cliches and talk about inclusivity and diversity, and, don't mind that I'm taking a bunch of donor money. It's like, get the fuck out of here. We don't need this right now. Are you fucking serious? Oh my God, man. The coached, polished politician is done and over with. 10 years too late, maybe 20 years too late. We need something genuine. Not this. Already, just strike one, you're out. Let's keep going.
Because I happened to be in New York City on 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down. Before the smoke cleared, I knew I wanted to make a life in national security.
Do you know how many people actually care about this? Zero people care about your life story. I really don't care. Okay? Unless if you grew up in the Great Depression or maybe, was a Vietnam War veteran, I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't make me want to vote for you. So why even mention it?
I was recruited by the CIA and did 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military. In between, I worked at the White House under President Bush and President Obama, 2 very different leaders who both believed that America is exceptional.
Bruh! Oh my God. So, American exceptionalism. Now, I understand, America is the greatest country in the world. But you're a Democrat and you're praising Bush this late into the game? Are you kidding me, man? So, this Democrat has also been endorsed by Liz Cheney. What did he even say about that? Really, what did he even say about that? You're praising Bush. When Kamala Harris started, praising Dick Cheney and, Hillary Clinton started praising Bush, that's an absolute, just monumental, I don't even know how to describe it. Just, you don't do that. You don't. The Democratic, you think, the Democratic base is going to want to hear you guys fawning over George Bush and Dick Cheney, one of the worst administrations in the history of the United States? Really? Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here with this fucking stupid fucking shit. God damn.
You can find that same sense of patriotism here in Wyandotte, Michigan, where I'm speaking from tonight. It's a working class town just south of Detroit. President Trump and I both won here in November.
Again, standard political talking. Oh, Springfield, Massachusetts is an amazing town. It is a blue-collar working town. I don't give a shit. Nobody gives a shit.
It might not seem like it, but plenty of places like this still exist across the United States. Places where people believe that if you work hard and play by the rules, you should do well and your kids should do better. It reminds me of how I grew up. My dad was a lifelong Republican.
So how is this supposed to be, like, fighting against Trump? Like, get to the policies. Like, why aren't you saying, like, you know, gutting Medicaid, tax cuts for the rich, cutting government jobs, egg prices? Isn't that kind of like should be your main response to the current state of affairs? Instead, you're basically, sucking off the town you're from and just giving a political stump speech in this time where, you could be more aggressive. Republicans, when they go on the attack, they actually attack. Trump's like, the enemy within, the enemy within. Whereas, like, you, on the other hand, don't know how to attack. Like, you got to give it to Republicans that they know how to attack. They know how to, make people feel angry. Whereas we got milquetoast Democrats like this that are just like, oh, it is like, fucking 2002, and I'm going to tell you how great my life story, how great the town is, how great America is, oh, how great George W. Bush is. Yeah, this is not going to work.
Republican by mom, a lifelong Democrat. But it was never a big deal because we had shared values that were bigger than any one party. We just went through another fraught election season. Americans made it clear that prices are too high and that the government needs to be more responsive to their needs. America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way.
All right,
and we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy. So that's what I'm going to lay out tonight.
Oh, let's see how she does it.
Whether you're from Wyandotte or Wichita, most Americans share three core beliefs. That the middle class is the engine of our country.
Okay, that's right.
That strong national security protects us from harm.
Okay, that's also right.
Our democracy, no matter how messy, is unparalleled and worth fighting for.
I mean, she's right on those, but those are pretty, like, it's low-hanging fruit. Like, everybody knows this. Everyone's gonna, say those are good things.
Let's start with the economy. Michigan literally invented the middle class, the revolutionary idea that you could work at an auto plant and afford the car you were building. That's the American dream. And in order to expand and protect the middle class, we have to do a few basic things. We need to bring down the price of things we spend the most money on.
My big problem is this is not aggressive at all. Like, we're going to speed this up because, like, I have a feeling she's just going to ramble the entire time. So we're going to speed this up.
Groceries, housing, healthcare. We need to make more things in America with good-paying union jobs and bring our supply chains back home from places like China. We need to give American businesses the certainty they need to invest and create the jobs of the future. And we need a tax...
This is all just very generic stuff, though. Like, everybody runs on this, Democrat or Republican.
System that's get ahead.
So skip.
Not even close. President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends.
Okay.
He's on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he's going to make you pay in every part of your life. Grocery and home prices are going up, not down, and he hasn't laid out a credible plan to deal with either of those.
All right.
His tariffs on allies like Canada will raise prices on energy, lumber, and cars. And start a trade war that will hurt manufacturing and farmers. Your premiums and prescriptions will cost more because the math on his proposals doesn't work without going after your health care. Meanwhile, for those keeping score, the national debt is going up, not down. And if he's not...
I wonder what she's going to do about it, though. What are the Democrats going to do about this? Are they going to lay out any type of solution or anything? You're just going to say the issue at hand? Like, what are you guys actually going to do?
Not careful, he could walk us right into a recession. And one more thing. In order to pay for his plan, he could very well come after your retirement. The Social Security, Medicare, and VA benefits you worked your whole life to earn. The president claims he won't, but Elon Musk just called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer...
All right, so far this section is, okay. She is right on the substance here.
...servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts. no oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic.
Oh, bipartisanship. There we go. So here's the one thing, okay? When Republicans come out, they'll be like, okay, Democrats, we're going to be against you no matter what. Even if you come out for what we're for, we're going to be against you. Stop working with Republicans, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. You got to oppose them at every turn. No more bipartisanship. No more. That oozes weakness. Unless if it's like a layup of a bill or something. No exceptions. No exceptions. No bipartisanship.
Or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later. No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired. Okay, so we've talked about economic security. How about national security? Let's start with the border. As someone who spent my whole career protecting our homeland, every country deserves to know who and what is coming across its border. Period. Democrats and Republicans should all be for that. But securing the border without actually fixing our broken immigration system is dealing with the symptom and not the disease. America is a nation of immigrants. We need a...
Oh, here we go. Like, nation of immigrants, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but it's just so... The problem with this person here is that there's no charisma. They're boring. Like, I'm getting bored just watching this. Okay? At least when Bernie Sanders comes out, he's charismatic. You want to watch what he's saying. Whereas, like, you got someone like this who has negative personality. It's like, who's going to listen to this? Like, legitimately, in the first, minute, people are just going to tune out. Like, no personality, vague platitudes and cliches like normal. Oh, we gotta come together in a bipartisan nature. Oh, we're a nation of immigrants, blah, blah. It's just like we've heard the same thing again and again and again and again and again. Like, what they need to do is, obviously state the problem. Be more aggressive. Don't be all smiley like, oh yeah, like this is happening and this is happening. No, you gotta be angry and actually get out there, be passionate. Republicans get out there and they're passionate. Democrats get out there and it's just this lady is just taking lots of donor money. That's all it is. She's out here for her donors. She doesn't give a shit. You really think she cares? Hell no.
Functional system, keyed to the needs of our economy, that allows vetted people to come and work here legally. So I look forward to the president's plan on that.
What? I know it's sarcasm, but nobody's gonna find this funny or clever or anything. People just Republicans and Democrats are going to just view you as weak. It just oozes weakness.
Because here's the thing. Today's world is deeply interconnected. Migration, cyber threats, AI, environmental destruction, terrorism. One nation cannot face these issues alone. We need friends in all corners, and our safety depends on it. President Trump loves to say peace through strength.
So is she going to mention just taking Panama and Greenland, Canada, just all the different things? Is she going to mention that? Let's see.
That's actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan. But let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling in his grave. We all want an end to the war in Ukraine, but Reagan understood that true strength required America to combine our military and...
So this is the line that I saw last night, her just oozing over Reagan as a Democrat. Oh, God.
Economic might with moral clarity. And that scene in the Oval Office wasn't just a bad episode of reality TV. It summed up Trump's whole approach to the world. He believes in cozying up to dictators like Vladimir Putin and kicking our friends like the Canadians in the teeth. He sees American leadership...
In the teeth? Oh, my God. Like anyone actually says that in real life.
...as merely a series of real estate transactions. As a Cold War kid, I'm thankful it was Reagan and not Trump in office in the 1980s. Trump would have lost us the Cold War. Donald Trump's actions suggest that...
Oh, okay. So, she's praising Reagan. Why? Okay, you're a Democrat. Why on earth are you praising Ronald Reagan? Okay, here's the thing. I want everyone to understand this. Imagine if Josh Hawley came out and he's like, oh guys, we gotta come together and be bipartisan, and I'm so happy that FDR was in power during World War II. That would never happen. That would never happen. Stop praising Republicans. They are not your friends. I just don't get this. It's like, just, oh, god damn, man. Fucking weak-ass motherfuckers like this is the reason why the Democrats lose. Stop with the bipartisan shit. Stop it. It's like when Obama won, the Republicans got together, it's like, yeah, we're going to block everything this guy does. Whereas, like, this motherfucker right here, gave him this fucking speech, voted for, like, a bunch of Trump's cabinet. Like, what is that? You're not against Trump. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. So, like, we got, you know, this Democratic senator, you know, praising George Bush, praising Ronald Reagan, bipartisanship, vague platitudes and cliches. It's like you just cloned Hillary Clinton, basically. But even Hillary Clinton wouldn't stoop to this level, I think. Worse than Hillary Clinton. My God. Like, what kind of response is this? You know, let's continue.
In his heart, he doesn't believe we're an exceptional nation. He clearly doesn't think we should lead the world. Look, America is not perfect, but I stand with the majority of Americans who believe we are still exceptional, unparalleled.
Okay, like this American exceptionalism thing, you're trying to talk to the Democrats, okay? Yes, America is great, but this whole America exceptionalism thing, like, it's giving me, like, major W vibes. It really is. Like, oh yeah, we want, you know, expanded American empire. We want to, you know, America exceptionalism. Like, you know, no one's going to argue that, you know, America isn't great. America is, like, one, you know, definitely great. But, like, who are you actually talking to here? Like, you're losing Democrats with this speech. Republicans are going to just tell you to fuck off. And, like, moderates are just going to turn off after the first minute. Who is this appealing to?
And I would rather have American leadership over Chinese or Russian leadership any day of the week.
Wow. Haven't heard that before. I mean, the bar is so low. Why don't you just tell it how it is? Like, actually say, like, you know, what you would do, or, you know, how demonstrably bad this is happening. Like, you know, we should mention just, like, the loss of trust in allies. You know, the decline of the American empire could happen. You know, it could be like Great Depression territory, wealth inequality, which this person hasn't even mentioned yet. You know, the top 1% has 40% of the wealth. That's pretty substantial. How about warmongering with, you know, Panama and Greenland, and having a war with the Mexican drug cartels? Why isn't any of this being mentioned? These are pretty important issues that are going on. And whether you agree or disagree, you got to admit that these are pretty big things. And this, you know, senator is just like, oh, we'll just kind of gloss over this. We're going to tell you how we need to come together in a bipartisan nature, and just a whole fucking shitty spiel. This is who Chuck Schumer picked. Chuck Schumer needs to get the fuck out. Hakeem Jeffries needs to get the fuck out. They need to retire. They're fucking rich anyway, so they can retire. How much money do you need? Like, you can retire off of fucking $1 or $2 million and you'll be fine. I mean, these guys are fucking, you know, set for life. Just fucking retire. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody likes them. And nobody likes this fucking asshole.
Because for generations, America has offered something better. Our security and our prosperity, yes, but our democracy, our very system of government, has been the aspiration of the world. And right now, it's at risk. It's at risk when the president decides you can pick and choose what rules you want to follow, when he ignores court orders and the Constitution itself, or when elected leaders stand by and just let it happen.
I wonder what she's going to do about it, though. Like, you don't see her at like any, you know, protests. You're not going to see her calling for like any type of, I guess, impeachment, maybe impeachment, perhaps. But they haven't called for it. She's not going to call for it in this speech. They gotta have all this proper decorum. She's not like cursing or anything. Like, the days of just being like all, you know, polished is so far gone. Like, why not just say it how it is? Like, oh, I don't get it. Like, you know, Trump says the enemy within. Democrats will never say that ever.
But it's also at risk when the president pits Americans against each other, when he demonizes those who are different and tells certain people they shouldn't be included. Because America is not just a patch of land between two oceans. We are more than that. Generations have fought and died to secure the fundamental rights that define us. Those rights and the fight for them make us who we are. We're a nation of strivers.
It just feels like she's talking down to everybody at this point. Like, oh yeah, like, like, this isn't appealing to him. Let's skip that part.
I've seen what life is like when a government is rigged. You can't open a business without paying off a corrupt official. You can't criticize the guys in charge without getting a knock at the door in the middle of the night. So as much as we need to make our government more responsive to our lives today, don't for one moment fool yourself that democracy isn't precious and worth saving. But how do we actually do that?
Oh, she got a plan. I mean, I came up pretty strong in the beginning, but I'm sorry, guys. This speech is just, it's bad, but the worst part about it is just that it's boring. At least when Trump makes a speech, you're like ripping your, like if you're a Democrat, you're ripping your hair out, but there's stuff to say about it. Like, with this is just nothing. Like, that's the biggest problem. It's just like this decorum being all proper and polished and bipartisan and all this like just ridiculous stuff. She hasn't really said anything. And I think that's kind of the big takeaways. When Bernie Sanders actually makes a speech, he says stuff. He says stuff worth of substance. He has policies and he's charismatic and interesting. And you're just like, hell yeah. When someone like this makes a speech, it's vague platitudes and cliches. Oh, we got to come together in the bipartisan nature. They don't say anything. Like, yeah, we are aware of what's going on, but this senator is just like, and I keep forgetting her name, it's Slotkin, but like she keeps just basically just glossing over this stuff or only the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is nothing. And this is who Chuck Schumer picked. And, Hakeem Jeffries, they literally went out and they wore pink suits, cut the cause of disruption. Like, are you kidding me, man? It should have been like a lion's den in there. Al Green said some stuff, and that's about it. The rest of them just took it all like bitches, basically.
I know a lot of you have been asking that question. First, don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted.
Okay, watch the news. Yeah.
But America needs you now more than ever. If previous generations had not fought for this democracy, where would we be today? Second, hold your elected officials, including me, accountable. Watch how they're voting.
I mean, that's fair. We should watch how this person's voting, how they voted for Trump appointees. How she's against, whether you are for or against Medicare for all, she's against it. Taking the donor money. So, yeah, maybe put her in check.
Go to town halls and demand they take action. That's as American as apple pie. Third, organize.
American as apple pie. We gotta get these little slogans. Like, come on, man. Are you fucking serious? Like, you gotta put in all these little punchy things because that's how you're coached to do it. Get the fuck out. Like, Bernie doesn't do that. So, god damn it. It's just so fucking frustrating watching this shit. It's like, you're constantly being talked down to and like, oh my god, inclusivity and like we're so bipartisan and like American exceptionalism. It's just like, no. It's just like, no, like, you're fucked. You guys are fucked. Chuck Schumer, he fucked us. Hakeem Jeffrey fucked us. Fucked. In a time where the Democratic response needs to be overwhelming, they do nothing. They say nothing. And that's going to have consequences. When Obama was in power, Republicans, you never heard the end of it. Like, literally every single Republican, top 10 worst president list, they'll put like Obama near number one. Whereas like if a Democrat comes out, it's like, oh, well, I couldn't put Trump or Bush in there. It's like, we gotta respect them because bipartisan nature. It's like, you guys are so fucking weak. So weak. Unacceptable.
Pick just one issue you're passionate about and engage. And doom scrolling doesn't count. Join a group that cares about your issue and act. And if you can't find one, start one. Some of the most important movements in our history have come from the bottle up. In closing, we all know that our country is going through something right now. We're not sure what the next...
Wow, we all know, yeah. That's why you're here to give this speech.
...day is going to hold, let alone the next decade. But this isn't the first time we've experienced significant and tumultuous change as a country. I'm a student of history, and we've gone through periods of political instability before. And ultimately, we've chosen to keep changing this country for the better. But every single time, we've only gotten through those moments because of two things: engaged citizens and principled leaders. Engaged citizens who...
Principled leaders. Yeah. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Two of the best. Oh my god. Oh my God. Oh, Republicans are probably really happy that Democrats have no leadership right now. I mean, who's the leader of the Democrats? Nobody. It's not Kamala Harris. It's not Joe Biden. They're gone. There's nobody. Like, the closest thing you can maybe see is like Gavin Newsom, but like LA's on fire, and like that probably hurt his chances of winning that Democratic primary by a lot. There is no leadership. And when you have the voice of Bernie Sanders or Maxwell Frost or like any of these like actual like rising stars, they silence them because donor money's on the line. Okay, this Senator Slotkin, you obviously know she's bought and paid for. Like, everybody knows this. That's why they give you vague platitudes and cliches. They can't rock the boat too much. She'll never come out for like a Medicare for all. She'll never come out for like actually, wealth redistribution. Like, the top 1% has 40% of wealth. Like, there is no leadership. And the fact of the matter is, if Chuck Schumer puts someone out like this, who has zero personality and talks like this, Democrats are cooked for now. And it's bad, really bad. So I would love to say Bernie Sanders, but he's not even actually a Democrat, so that they would never give this to him anyway. But I mean, where are the Democrats right now? Where are they? Not doing anything. And, they're basically letting Trump just steamroll all over them. Like, what kind of opposition is this? It's a joke.
Do a little bit more than they're used to doing to fight for the things that they care about, and principled leaders who are ready to receive the ball and do something about it. So thank you tonight for caring about your country. Just by watching, you qualify as engaged citizens.
Wow, I'm engaged.
And I promise that I and my fellow Democrats will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve. Good night, everyone.
Boo. Okay, so I already summed it up. Terrible speech, one of the worst I've ever heard. She says nothing for 10 minutes. And it's a joke. Absolute joke. What kind of policy substance was in that speech? Absolutely nothing. And she wasn't aggressive. Like, this whole we got to be all proper and have decorum. She came out of a time machine from like the 1980s. Like, that age is long and gone. I'm at a loss for words right now. I mean, it's weak. It's really, really weak. But what can really be said? I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be, quite a long 4 years, obviously. But this is not good enough. I'm very disappointed in this. Extremely disappointed. The people who are in charge are just so bought, both Republicans and Democrats, that they will not rock the boat. They might be one or two outliers, but until you get this money out of politics, you're going to keep on getting stuff like this. On the Republican side, tax cuts for the rich and the corporations, but also on the Democratic side, they're just as corrupt. You're never going to get the policies you want unless if you get money out of politics. If Democrats ever win the presidential election ever again, first thing that needs to be done is to have a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics. That is the first thing that needs to be done. Because what's happening right now is that Elon Musk basically bought the presidency, and everything that's being done right now is being done to make sure that Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. The fact that she didn't even mention that, it's so obvious to everybody. Be specific about it. He wants to become the world's first trillionaire. And that's because of money in politics. And with all the other stuff that Trump is doing. They're all bought and paid for. But it's also like that on the Democrat side. Hakeem Jeffries went back to Silicon Valley. Tried to get, more billionaire donors. They're not learning a goddamn thing. The first president that comes around that isn't taking all this billionaire money, all the money from the donors, or William Adelson, or AIPAC, or whatever it is, they will go down as, revered as one of the best presidents of all time. But until that happens, we're going to keep on getting people like this. Alyssa Slotkin, you should be ashamed. You're weak. This response was one of the worst speeches I've ever heard in my entire life. And what else can really be said? I mean, will Bernie make another run? I doubt it. He's way too old. Tim Walz, we'll see. I don't know. But other than that, AOC, I don't think she's going to make a run for it. And the Democratic establishment, as long as Nancy Pelosi's in charge, it's kind of fucked until Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are gone. But then again, even if they're gone, for every Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, there's 6 other Democrats that are just like this. So who's it going to be next? Fucking Debbie Wasserman Schultz getting in the way? Or Donna Brazile getting in the way? What the fuck are we looking at here? Just gotta... But anyway, I think this has gone long enough. Terrible speech, terrible senator. Not for the right policies and not looking out for you. Lying in her own pockets. It's a disgrace. Hope you enjoyed this video and more videos coming soon.